Hello, I'm a Disgruntled anime fan, and this week I'm reviewing Nadia of the Blue Water. It's a really good series set in early 1900s France, and I really think you'll enjoy it. Oh, hang on a second. Hello? What? What do you mean Nadia's not till next week? What do you mean I have to... You're kidding. You're joking, right? Fuck. Alright, I'll do it. Sorry folks, it looks like instead of doing Nadia, I have to finish the fucking Pokemon review. Because it's 2 parts, because YouTube's too fucking cheap. Where was I when I finished that? Oh yes. I was talking about the characters. Pokemon's got some really bad ones. And I'll go over a good majority of them here. I already did Ash, so I'll start off with the first female lead that you run across, Misty, from the original series. Misty's a Water-type trainer. This means that she deals exclusively with Water-type Pokemon. This is because, at first, she's the youngest sister of the Sensational Sisters of Cerulean City. Now, they're the gym leaders, and after a while, Misty will take over the gym leader. But when she's first introduced, she's just a traveling trainer. Now, she's introduced because Ash steals her bike, and he ends up getting it blown up by his own Pikachu. Not the most responsible guy in the world, is he? Now, she basically follows him around for, I think it's 4 or 5 seasons, just because he blew up his bike. Yeah, that's not the best way for, I don't know, that's no reason to follow anybody around, and there's supposedly more romance in the manga and the Japanese adaptation, but I've only seen the English, so I wouldn't really know that. Time for another age quiz. How old do you think Misty is? A, 16 years old. B, 18 years old. C, 12 years old. If you guess the first two, you're wrong. Yeah, that's right. She's 12. She's 12 and she's wandering around. A little bit older than Ash, but that's still no reason why she should be wandering around on her own. Even if she is accompanied by a loser like Ash, which, quite frankly, I don't know why I'd want to be accompanied by him anyways. But anyways, on to Brock, who's the next character to get introduced. And he doesn't get introduced until Pewter City, which is a good, probably 10 episodes in. But here he is. So here's Brock. Now, wait a minute. Where have I seen those spiky hair and slanted eyes before? I've seen him fairly recently. It's so close. It's on the tip of my tongue. Who could it be? Who is it? Oh dear God, that's not an image I wanted to be seeing. Well, despite his physical similarities to Naruto, he's not nearly as annoying, but he's still kind of a retarded character. For one, all he does is cook. I'm not kidding. He's a fucking maid who travels and collects Pokemon with no rhyme or reason to what he does. He is the gym leader at Pewter City, but he gives up that to go traveling with Ash. Now, why you give up being a gym leader is beyond me. I mean, it seems like a pretty cushy job to me. I sure as hell wouldn't want to give it up. Well, I said I'd go over Gash's mom, but just due to length, I'm not going to get into her. If you really want to look her up on the internet, there's probably Rule 34 all about her. If you know what that is, then, well, this is probably the right place for you to be watching. But anyways, on to the villains. Now, with a name like Team Rocket, you'd think they'd be a pretty badass villains. Well, guess what? That's where you'd be wrong. And this is the members of Team Rocket which the series follows. That's James on the left, Meowth in the center, and Jessie on the right. Now, these 3 are the lamest villains I've ever seen. They come up with these really, really brilliant, masterminded plans to capture Pikachu. Apparently he's a super-powered Pikachu, using all these crazy machines, but they always fail. And their backstories are bizarre. Meowth's a Pokemon that taught himself how to talk. James is apparently the heir to a huge fortune, so I don't know why they're always poor. And I'm not really sure what Jessie's background is, but... And after a while, they get rivals between Team Magma and Team Aqua. And even before that, they get Butch and Cassidy. But these rivals rarely show up. They're underdeveloped characters. And really, even with these characters, there's not a whole lot of character development going on. Just the same damn jokes. And it gets really tiring really fast. Alright, so about 2002 rolled around, and Pokemon had now been out for 5 years. And the games have been out, the series has been out for 5 years, the games have been out for about 6 years. And the guys at Nintendo said, well, why don't we revamp the casting a little bit in the Pokemon series? With the release of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, they ended up with a new character, who ended up becoming May in the anime series. Well, May went on to replace Misty. And from what I can tell on the internet, she's probably the most popular of the 3 main female characters. That would be Misty, May, and Dawn. Dawn's probably hasn't caught on as much popularity because she's newer. But May's popular. She came around about probably Season 5. Now, I'll go into some detail about her because she's probably the one character that actually has character development in this entire goddamn series. And here we have May. Now, May is the one character that actually will develop. She starts off being afraid of Pokemon, and by the end of her run in the series, which is only about 3 seasons, a lot shorter than Misty, she's no longer afraid of Pokemon. An interesting tidbit about her. She is the daughter of the Petalburg City gym leader. Now, that causes an interesting dilemma. She's been raised around Pokemon. Why was she ever afraid of them? You may be asking me, what about the dubbing? What about the original voice acting? Well, to be honest, I have not seen the original Japanese voice casting. I've only seen, really, the 4Kids Entertainment. I haven't seen the new ones, which are done by Pokemon Group. That started in 2005 when 4Kids lost the right. Quite frankly, they never had the right to begin with, if you ask me. Because if you don't have any idea what 4Kids is, the name explains everything. They dumbed down anime to make it more accessible to the American children. And quite frankly, that's a little bit of an abomination. There's people out there like, oh, you should always watch anime subtitled. Any dubbing is an atrocity. No, that's not true. There are some really good dubs out there. Big O's a good one. Cowboy Bebop did a good job. Nadesco's actually better than the Japanese version. But that's besides the point. 4Kids Entertainment is infamous for just pretty much just destroying shows. Like One Piece. They started out, when it first aired on WB, it was the 4Kids. And now that it's on Cartoon Network, they're using, well, when it was on Cartoon Network, I don't know if it still is, but they're using the Funimation dubs, which are a lot better. They don't cut down the story. They don't edit the animation itself, which is really pisses me off that anyone would ever edit an animation. So I'm glad Funimation's taking it over. Now, not having seen the original Japanese voice casting, I can't really tell you how that was. But the thing about the 4Kids that struck me really hard was the fact that the characters are fairly flat and there's not a lot of emotion to them. So, really, it's not the best casting in the world. I blame that more on the director more than the voice actors. There are some pretty decent voice actors in that cast. But really, it's all direction. And as for the animation, what do you expect? It's mid-90s. Things are kind of ugly. It's still all hand-drawn. The newer stuff, yeah, it's shinier, but it's still, even with computers, it's generally bad. Poor shading, generic character designs, reuse of stock characters such as Nurse Joy's and Officer Jenny's. So, really, there's not a whole lot I can say on the animation side of things, but in general, if you're trying to get into anime, stay away from this one. It's a great nostalgic watch, but if you really want to kill yourself, it's a great watch, but otherwise, stick to some better stuff. If you want a good gateway one, try Big O, try Cowboy Bebop. Hell, Full Metal Alchemist is a good one to get hooked on. But don't watch Pokemon. Save yourself. Well, I'm running out of time. I'm a disgruntled anime fan. If it's shitty, Japanese, poorly animated, badly dubbed, I'll probably watch it.